September 3rd, 1991. Welcome to Pilgrimage. I'm Susan Crosman. Come in and meet the rest of the staff. Dan, Kelly, and Crystal followed Susan into the office part of the building. As they passed each desk, they were introduced to each member of the staff. This is Molly. She helps with the mail that comes in. This is Pam. She is the treasurer. This is Amanda. This is Martha. She is in charge of subscriptions. This is Rhonda. She is in charge of shipping, as well as helping her sister take care of Mr. Robinson's palliative care. "How is Mr. Robinson doing?" Crystal inquired anxiously. "Mr. Robinson is comfortable, but he is sorry that he is not up to seeing anyone. He is no longer able to speak, and when he was still able to speak, I asked him how he was doing, and he told me that dying is a very slow process. I'm sorry that we cannot see him, but I would just as soon remember Mr. Robinson as he was when I saw him last than in his present state," Crystal replied. "That would be best, and I'm sure Mr. Robinson would prefer it that way too," Susan acknowledged. Dan and Kelly continued to follow Susan as she showed them the whole office complex. Crystal stayed behind, wishing to talk with Martha for a bit. "Martha, to how many people do you send out the trumpet alarms?" "Oh, I don't know the exact number, but there are between 8,000 and 9,000 addresses." "Wow, that's a lot of envelope stuffing to have to do each month." "Yes, well, we all pitch in to make sure they get out as soon as possible." "Does Alexander King work here as well?" "No, he lives quite a distance from here. He just sends in his writings to us. He is very well informed about chronology, you know." "No, I didn't know. Is he married?" "No, I don't think so. He's around 28 years old." "How did he learn about the true identity of the lost 10 tribes of Israel?" "Through a believing uncle, I believe it was, and his parents brought him to see Mr. Rand when he was young, if my memory serves me correctly." "That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing it with me. Glad to be of service. If there's anything else with which I can help you, don't be afraid to ask." Dan and Kelly came back and were itching to go, so Crystal thanked Susan for not minding the interruption in their busy schedule. Susan assured her that it was no interruption and to be sure to drop in again any time they were in the area. Then Susan asked Crystal to keep them informed as to how she made out with the people she was trying to win to the Lord at work, and especially that young fellow, David Armstrong. Crystal promised to keep them informed, and then they left. On the way home, they shared more of what they had experienced at Pilgrimage, but Kelly had a specific agenda on her mind that she just had to share. "Crystal, are you terribly disappointed you did not get to see Mr. Robinson again?" "No, not really. I'll see him again in heaven, and then he will not be ill and wasting away." "What about not being able to see Alexander King?" "No, but I imagine Dan is disappointed." "Am not. I only came on this trip to please you two. What difference would it make to me seeing one less nut or two?" "Dan, how rude!" Kelly gave Dan a look of warning not to push Crystal's buttons, or they would get a sermon all the way home. Crystal, however, acted like she didn't even notice Dan's attempt to get her into a biblical discussion, and instead relayed to them all the information about Alexander King that Martha had shared with her. "Oh, Crystal, Dan and I were told something about Alexander King that is even better than what you learned. We were told that Alexander King has been offered a full-time position to come and work at Pilgrimage, but as yet he has not accepted. So they are just leaving it in the Lord's hands. Just think if he accepts their offer. The next time we visit, we'll be able to meet him in person. Kelly waited for Crystal to respond to this exciting news, but it was as if Crystal did not even hear her. Kelly was not giving up on her dream that she was going to have a double wedding with her sister, and Alex King was the best candidate for making this dream come true, but only if Crystal would cooperate and not continue to be so fussy and stubborn. Crystal did hear what her sister had told her, and she did find it very interesting. But Crystal's mind was more preoccupied with her next outing with David Armstrong, which was planned for the next Saturday after her trip. What did David want to talk to her about this time? Would she get any farther in leading him to the Lord than she had the last few times they had conversed?